Grand rising, grand rising. This is ShonSpeaks. Oh man, I think it's been a minute since I did a heart talk on the walk. It has been a minute. I started to record it live, but I needed to make sure I could get my words together. I need to get my words together. So it's early here and in the great state of Texas. But I wanted to just kind of come on for a few minutes because many of us are dealing with our own shit. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of shit going on, whether it's financial shit, relationship shit, whatever the shit you may have going on. But I wanted to clear up something because somebody made a point to me that I don't think that that didn't really align with what I feel like my messaging is. And I just wanted to kind of clear it up, especially and specifically today in the area of relationships. I one time done a podcast that do relationships have to be hard. And I specifically said that relationships do not have to be hard if within your space of possibility, you have started to feed yourself that relationships can be easy. Now, when I say the word easy or fun, I think I may have specifically said fun. That doesn't mean, for me in my messaging, it doesn't mean that there's not going to be challenges. There's not going to be hurdles. There's not going to be things that could turn out to be sort of a bad experience with somebody. But what I mean by fun, by exciting, by easy, is that both parties, or however, whatever your situationship may be, want to be there, want to be with you. You want to be with that person wants to be with you. Because to me, that is the foundation of any real relationship, any relationship that has any potential for growth, longevity, etc., is that both parties have to want to be with each other. And if both parties want to be with each other, then there's no deficiency there, right? A lot of times we build these relationships where we know we don't want to be with one person, or the other person knows that they don't want to be with us. Now you're building a relationship that's built on a deficient foundation. But if both parties actually really want to be there and want to be with each other, then there's no deficiency in the foundation. And that's a good foundation to build on. In fact, I will almost say that it's a better foundation to build on mutual wanting of each other than just love itself. Because love by itself, especially the way we kind of use the term, we kind of throw that term out when we want to sucker punch somebody. We'll say, but I love you. I don't want to be with you, but I love you. All right. And that's sort of like our way of kind of, patting somebody on the back. Like, I don't want to be with you, but I do love you. The reality of it is that the way we've learned and been trained with the word love is that doesn't really mean a whole lot. Right. It's whether or not you want to show up in this world with me in the way that we say we want to show up together. And if you don't, you don't. Right. That's just a part of life. Sometimes I may change my mind. Sometimes you may change your mind. You have a right to change your mind on whether you feel like you connect with somebody or not, right? If the wanting isn't there, then the wanting isn't there. And so I just wanted to clear up a little bit of my messaging that I am not saying that relationships should not make agreements, should not rearrange and change agreements, because that's a part of relating. A part of relationships is the main focus of relationships is relating. Meaning I have to get to know you. You have to get to know me. I got to get to know your quirks. You got to get to know my quirks. And we are relating in the getting to know of our quirks. And guess what? Despite all of those crazy quirks that we all may have, guess what? I still want to be with you. You still want to be with me. See, the relationship doesn't actually break down and become hard until you don't want to be there. And now you're trying to force yourself to be there. And now on top of that, you got quirks that you don't like, right? Not only do you not want to be there, now you got quirks that you don't like. And then you got children. Then you got business obligations. And then you got, friendships that people, you just got all of these other layers of things that's on top of a deficiency. And the deficiency is that you don't want to be there. And so I would just say that in the area of relationships, right, the core foundation to two or more people, whatever that situationship may be, is that both parties have to want to be together, want to show up in this world together. There has to be a wanting of each other, right? A mutual wanting a reciprocity of wanting. And then in that reciprocity of wanting, you can build, right? Because you got the best foundation ever. You got a mutual wanting. So when you're building creating that life of whatever you're creating with that person or persons, right? Then when come, right, you can handle it. That's a hurdle. That's a challenge to the foundation. But if the foundation is there, you both stand strong. You work through it. You communicate through it. You talk through it. You do whatever you have to do to get through it, right? You're not making each other want each other. You're handling life's challenges to what you have created and what you have built, right? And so it is about connection, right? But the connection, the foundational core of the connection is a mutual wanting. And if that mutual wanting isn't there, then you have to be honest first with yourself, right? And then sometimes you may want to be honest with the other person, but you know how we are. We want to pat people's back and say, well, I don't want to be with you, but I love you, right? And if you have to do that, that's fine too. But the reality of it is that you have to figure that out for yourself, and you make whatever decisions that you want to make for you that best fits the life that you want to have for yourself. And so I just want to say that I'm not asking people to say, hey, this relationship is hard, I want out. No, that's not the messaging, right? The messaging is that you want a mutual wanting of each other. And if there's a mutual sincere, now it's got to be sincere. It cannot be a forced wanting. You can't want because you're scared to be alone. You can't want because you want financial security. There has to be a wanting of a true, sincere desire, a heart desire for that other person. And if you have that, that's a great foundation to build upon. And yes, love will be there, but don't use love as an excuse to break somebody's heart, or don't use love as an excuse to just sort of soften the blow of the breakup, right? Oh, I love you. I don't want you, but I love you, right? Because at the end of the day, some people are going to interpret that I love you as meaning, well, that means I love you. I want you too, right? But it's not the same thing. I love you and I want to be with you are not the same thing. I can love you all day and not want to be with you, not want to spend my life with you, not want to be in that space with you, right? And so I just want to make sure that my messaging about relationships is that, yes, I do think that relationships should be easy and fun, and it should be exciting. But with the fact that it's easy, fun, and exciting, there's always a flip side. Remember, everything is polarized. So if something is exciting, then it has to be fear. So you're not going to be in a relationship with somebody and not have some fear, because it's only in that fear that you can create excitement. But it's about being in a relationship where there is a constant desire to want to relate to another person, want to get to know, want to learn, want to understand their quirks, and just align with their quirks, right? Whatever those quirks may be. And for me, that is my relationship messaging. And what I'm saying to people is start doing that earlier on in your relationships. Don't hide behind the quirks. Don't hide behind the challenges. Don't hide behind the hurdles. If you don't want somebody, you just don't want them. It's okay, right? That shit just happens sometimes, right? But don't lie to people, right? Don't lie about what you want when you know you don't want something, right? And then if you change your mind, you change your mind, and just be straightforward with the other person. And this way you can have great relationships when you have great relationships. And even when the relationships have to end, they can end with a type of honor, right? With a type of integrity, right? I see people divorce a lot of times, and they divorce as friends. And sometimes they even divorce closer than they were as married people. And I think the only way you can even get to that is that there has to be an integrity in the relating part, or at least when you start to realize that we had not been relating, we've been hiding and covering and forcing ourselves to want and making what was an easy relationship hard when it doesn't have to be. Just communicate, talk it through. And I will talk through with somebody till I'm blue in the face. If it's something worth talking through, if it's something worth creating, then something's worth talking through with somebody. But then when you realize that there's not a mutual want there, then what are we talking about, right? Because at this point now, I'm putting in my ether, or as Abraham Hicks likes to say, putting in my vortex, right? I'm putting in my vortex the very thing that I don't want. So I'm not going to talk through with someone or someone's that which I don't want. I'm only going to talk through that which I want, right? Because I only want what I want to come back in my life. And I want that to be what I'm growing in and building on. And if I'm doing it with another person, then I want it to be what we want. so we can put into that ether, or out into the universe, what we want to grow and what we want to build. But anyway, I'm over my 9 minutes of time that I wanted to talk. It's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I got my run in. I got court today, so I got to get out of here, go get dressed. Ashe, free thinkers, ashe. May what you say manifest in your life today and every day.